my house has been invaded by ants, and if I just disappear randomly, I've been called into the front lines. So, if you know.
Are you trapping them or raiding them?
So we don't have any raid.
That's good. In my opinion.
We ordered some because it got so bad.
Oh, okay.
But we've been using diatomaceous earth pretty extensively. Our house looks like you might we're way into like meth or crack or something.
Oh.
It's like all over every floor and every surface. It was really, really bad. So if we find more swarms of them, I may just disappear. And sorry.
Oh, it is what it is. I've been using liquid ant baits. They seem to kill the hives rather quickly. Usually they're gone within a day.
And so you just leave them out near where the swarm is.
Basically, if they're making a line to something, you just drop the traps right along the line, and they eventually figure it out.
Okay.
But I have had certain ants that don't care for the traps, and they just walk around them. They don't care.
Yeah. We had traps for a long while, and I felt they were okay, but the diatomaceous earth has proven quite good at deterring them. But the problem is you have to find where they're coming from, and sometimes that's very difficult. But if you can jam that entrance up, they will not cross it. They're very good about staying behind that line.
Some people say peppermint.
I've heard that.
And peppermint oil and stuff. I've definitely heard. I've never tried that one, but we've definitely heard of it.
Yep. Good luck.
Yep. It's the old Starship Troopers montage. I'm doing my part. You know.
Summer happens, especially when there's this bad of a drought. They got to find water, and they know your house has it. So we get all sorts of critters in the summer, and it's not fun. Well, they are now on break, and we are coming back from break. Hello, We Were Gamers family. JJ, how are you?
Hello.
Michael, hello.
How you doing?
I guess people will be like, where were those guys last week? I originally planned to edit up some of the side stuff we've got in the can that I've been working on. And then I realized that I also wanted just a vacation week. So we took last week off. And that's the way the cookie crumbles? I don't know. It was nice. Did everyone have a good holiday week?
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't do much, but it was just nice to have the extra time off.
Yeah, it was a nice time.
That was the thing. It was like we didn't do much, So the 2 weeks before that, at every couple days, we were going somewhere, doing something, vacationing, quote unquote, somewhere, or camping, and it was just nonstop. So it was like nice to be. A lot of us had extra days off due to the national holiday, right? And so just taking it easy for a few days was cool. So hey, recharged, ready to do battle.
Hopefully not that recharged, because got Comic-Con in a couple weeks here.
So I need to be really recharged, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like you better be like resting as hard as possible.
Yeah, we're all going, right? Yeah, we're all going.
We're all going.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. I'm not too proud to admit I'm nervous about how it will go. Not only for the health concerns, but also for they haven't really done this in a couple of years concerns.
Yeah.
And if there's too many people for that amount of commitment, and if they don't have enough people, it could be a real, words that we won't say here.
My guess, this is a complete guess based on literally nothing, is that it is either going to be the best run Comic-Con of forever, because they have like crazy amounts of volunteers, and there will be less attendance because the badges were all sold, and then over 2 years, people moved, couldn't come, all kinds of reasons, right?
Yep.
Or it will be the most attended one for the opposite reason, right? It's been 2 years, people have been really wanting to come, they saved up all their time, and they're ready to go, you know. And I don't know which of those two it will be.
I think all the people that are attending will definitely be more organized and into it and ready to go. I don't know. Without having had a lot of income and budget, it's going to be tough for them to scale up and be like, here we are, we're back at Comic-Con, you know, on the hosting end, I would think. Unless, you know, some finances came out of the woodwork. And that's also not unlikely.
You know, a lot of the security people, or not security, but a lot of the people that help at Comic-Con are volunteers. So, you know, there will be a large amount of that as well, right?
Right.
They get a lot of help from volunteers, but there are definitely people that have to be paid and expenses, you know, for all that sort of stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out and report back in 2 weeks' time, because we have one more pod before then, I think. But in the meantime, let's use a little bit of that rest to get back into one of our favorite areas of mental battle here. Michael, bring it home.
Yeah, JJ, you have your wig and gavel ready?
Oh yeah, okay. My hear ye.
I like
food court is now back in session.
I like that without really discussing it or making any sort of pronouncement, we've kind of both just assumed JJ's on top of that.
Well, didn't we decide that
altar?
Didn't we decide that JJ was for judge and jury?
He had to be, right? There was no, I don't know. Maybe we discussed it, but I don't think so. I've always just sort of pictured him up there. And it's got to be one of those British courts where they're 6 feet higher than everyone else.
Oh, like way up there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just picture the guy in the Ace Attorney games, you know, the judge with he has the black robe and he sits way up high. And
as long as my superpower is that I can make the word objection appear above my head, I'll be happy.
Well, on trial today is me, apparently.
Oh.
So apparently I have unknowingly been a sociopath for years, and I need you guys to rule either in my favor and save me, or tell me that I need to change my ways.
Okay.
So I frequently take a box of Poptarts to work, and they just live in my desk for mornings when I'm in a hurry to eat something for breakfast. And my usual MO is that I will open the packet of Pop-Tarts, the little foil packet that they always come in, and take out a Pop-Tart and eat it, and then save the second one. And I have been told that this is crazy town.
Where do you save the second one?
yeah, where do you save it? That's what I want to know.
Oh, I just, there's a tape dispenser on my desk, so I put a little piece of tape on it and stick it back in the box.
For the next day?
Usually a day or two.
Or two?
I don't let, if it's open, I don't let them sit.
Yeah, because that's those things aren't really meant to be out.
Right.
No.
That's why I tape them closed.
Man, I was all ready to have one of those, it's okay, everyone chooses how to eat their Pop-Tarts their own way, hot or cold, it's up to you, as long as you're toasting and not microwaving. I was ready for that discussion. I'm not ready for this, I only finished half the Twix.
Yeah. So I'm a bad judge for this, unfortunately, you guys, because I didn't really grow up with Pop-Tarts. They were never available in my household. It wasn't something that my family ever had or allowed us to have. So I didn't really come into them until college, when I could just get whatever I wanted. And even then I didn't really buy them because hadn't been a thing. I get them out of vending machines or whatever every now and then, but not frequently. So I don't know that I have. I don't do this, I guess. But when I'm buying them out of vending machines or whatever, I'm buying the one package to eat the package. I'm not buying it to eat half of it, closing it back.
What's the flavor?
Oh, well, that was the other thing that I got judged on. I like just the unfrosted strawberry ones.
On unfrosted?
Unfrosted.
So just the pastry and the filling.
And the filling.
Oh boy.
I can respect that decision.
That is
I mean, I
that
think
is the level of sugar that I want.
Yeah, the frosting is a lot. It really turns it into dessert.
Yeah, see, I think that's the thing, right? If I'm eating a Pop-Tart at a time that is not breakfast, I love the frosted ones.
Andrew, would you judge him less if he was eating toaster strudels and they weren't Pop-Tarts?
Yes. But also a toaster strudel would come in one serving, I think, right?
I don't know.
I think they're
I think
individual.
they're individual. I think that's the deal with the toaster strudel.
Well, but I'm saying like in terms of the frosting, no frosting situation.
Oh, but a toaster strudel is frosted.
The frosting, I think, comes in a little package.
They're iced, right? They're iced. So you toast it and then you ice it. That's a toaster strudel. And
right, but the point is you have to put the icing on yourself. You just didn't.
Yeah. I can't remember. Is the toaster strudel a single plastic bag for each one?
I think so.
I think that doesn't help us in this situation. And I think you could eat a toaster strudel uniced because it's okay to eat a cinnamon roll uniced.
Yeah.
Icing
I'm with you on that one.
Icing is not frosting.
Is this a case where we're all being bamboozled by the shrinkflation or the like serving size debate or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
What's a serving size for a Pop-Tart? Is it one Pop-Tart? It's probably like half a Pop-Tart.
I know. I think they actually say that it's 2, but you got to wonder, is that big Pop-Tart trying to sell more Pop-Tarts?
I don't know. I mean, if you leave them more than a day, they're definitely stale.
No, they're fine. Tape. Like I said, yeah, with the tape, they're fine.
Well,
they
I
last
guess
a couple of days.
You might not notice the difference if your flavor buds are allowing an unfrosted Pop-Tart into your mouth.
Also, they're like full of chemicals and stuff, probably. So it's fine. No one's going to notice. What does stale even mean when like 80% of them is like...
It's already stale before you get it, right?
Already chemical, yeah.
Oh boy, I don't know. This is like so far outside my range. I'm a full blown like s'mores. Eat them hot. Got both of them, nice and crispy. A little bit almost even burnt from the toaster.
I think strawberry is my preferred filling flavor for sure. But
see, the problem with strawberry for me is that then I want to eat them cold because the strawberry turns nuclear when you're heating them.
Oh yeah, the sugar in there in the jam.
So like the other ones, like the brown sugar, maple, whatever, the cinnamon one, or the s'more one, or even the apple one, I think, were fine when you toasted them. But the strawberry was like, nope, I'm never toasting this because I ignited the inside of my mouth with liquid magma.
It's the Hot Pocket problem.
Hot Pocket.
Yep. That's why they give you that little jacket to put over the Hot Pocket so that you can literally kill yourself with the massive amount of heat that you've inflicted.
Oh boy, I will split the ruling here. How about that, JJ? You judge on a split ruling because this is 2 counts. He's up against 2 counts here. 1, flavor. 2, the serving size.
You mean icing or no icing versus serving size, or do you mean the like choice of strawberry? I guess strawberry unfrosted is the
strawberry unfrosted. And I would propose, JJ, that a person is not.
Who's the prosecution here?
Like, am I going to be? I'm declared excommunicado. I can no longer avail myself of the continental breakfast.
I'm just thinking that we can appease a lot of people by saying that maybe you shouldn't allow a person to feel bad about whatever serving size they eat.
Yeah, I think if you just asked me this on a random day without any context, I'd be like, well, of course you eat both. It's weird that the other one's going to go bad.
Yeah.
Right. But I've also never tried it.
I would personally not leave a Pop-Tart uneaten out of the bag.
Yeah.
To me, it is like a Twix, but I don't think it borders on crime.
Yeah. I think
a cold, just strawberry filled Pop-Tart without the flakiness of a toaster strudel or other type of pastry is a little bit psychopathish, along with not finishing both.
Yeah. As a person who, again, like I don't have like a lot of fond memories of Pop-Tarts, growing up as a child, but I have had them on occasion and they are fine.
Sure,
I
but
think the issue that gets me is that as a breakfast food, there is so much sugar in them, right? And like I would want less sugar. I would totally eat the toaster strudel with no icing on it because then it's like I've turned it into a dessert.
But if in my opinion, there are better strawberry breakfast pastries out there to eat if you just want a strawberry pastry.
Look, inarguably, a Pop-Tart is not the like high end of the breakfast anything, right? Like you're going to Pop-Tarts because they're cheap, right? I assume.
Yeah.
And
like a cup noodle situation.
And easy. Yeah, and super easy.
And like everywhere has them. It's impossible to like not. If you go to a major supermarket, they're gonna have Pop-Tarts. Like if they're out of Pop-Tarts, like the aisles will be mostly bare anyway. Right?
I just don't know that it's criminal, but it's off-putting. You're eating sushi with a fork here.
Yeah.
Is what you're doing.
I think I'm agreeing. I think I'm a little less on that than Andrew is, but I agree. It's weird. It's weird.
Fair enough.
And like, look, people are weird. It's cool. It's fine. You can be weird.
No one's saying, especially with the serving size. Like, I mean, I guess you can leave the other half of the Twix.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Like no one is going to do that, but I guess you could do it if you want. Again, it's not illegal. Like based on you saying this, it sounds like you've been doing this for quite a while and therefore have not died from it or gotten salmonella or I don't know. What even salmonella? They can't grow there. I don't know what even could grow on those things. Mold in a day? No, I don't know. So, anyway,
I propose you recheck the aisle for possible other options.
Yeah, man. You know those like Danish, what are those things? Those things are pretty good. And you can buy those in the huge package at Costco too.
I mean, go to, you can get them at Costco too. You get these at Costco. Go get the little French, chocolate croissant. You should eat one of those.
Oh, I thought you were going to say and we do have some of these. There is a brand that makes strawberry jam filled crepes, like French crepes.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Rolled up in little packages, and those are very good. We have those as well.
See what I mean? There's better strawberry stuff out there.
Okay, all right. Like let's talk about breakfast food though. More importantly, what is if you have to pick a breakfast food that you're eating? What are you gonna pick?
Wait, no, this is too wide.
Whoa! Yeah. Am I only allowed? Are we talking? I'm only allowed one breakfast food ever.
No, that's what I'm saying.
This is too a similar situation to Michael is in. It's a morning. You have to eat something quick. You don't have all day. You can't like cook yourself a gourmet meal here or make like the perfect breakfast sandwich with all your ingredients. Mm-hmm. You get like, you need to get up and go kind of situation. What are you having?
So if I'm at home, we have some little packets of instant oatmeal.
Yeah, solid choice always.
If I have to get everyone out the door within 10 minutes, I have a pre-mixed box of one of those like OXO that's plastic tub pour out containers where I've pre-mixed a couple cereals together, usually like a Cheerios, like some kind of flake, like a not Frosted Flakes but like Special K or something like that, and then corn flake, not corn. Yeah, maybe. But I don't know.
Bran flake.
Bran flake. Bran flakes usually, and then a granola for the sugar.
Okay.
And that is like a triple cereal premix that I have in the cabinet at all times because many mornings it requires that a large family be fed and out the door quickly.
Yeah.
So that's an easy one. I mean, if that's the only parameter.
I think if I had, the choice, I'd probably want to do like a bagel and a glass of orange juice or something.
Yeah, but even having upgraded the size of my toaster, making 4 bagels takes too much time.
Yeah, I'm not toasting them at that point. I would just be
scarfing a bagel while you drive. Nice. Well, if someone wants to send in more parameters for the breakfast limitations, where would they send that?
Ooh, they could send those to podcast@wewergamers.com, and we'll be happy to talk about breakfast food. It's a big.
Oh, we'll spend a
So
whole
much.
episode if you let us.
I mean, we could just talk about breakfast food. I mean, literally the whole time.
Oh, breakfast food. I need to tell you guys this real fast, and then we can get off food. We went out for breakfast over the weekend, and the place we went had a dish that sounded so out there that we had to try it.
That's a good sign.
It was an omelet made with cheddar cheese and baked apples.
Oh, that sounds great.
The eggs were seasoned with nutmeg and dusted with cinnamon.
Oh, that's a little weirder.
Yeah,
I'm probably still trying this, but now I'm kind of.
So that's where we were.
How
That's where we were. We were like,
thin was the omelet when you got it? I assume very thin.
it had been folded over, but yeah, in a single layer, it wouldn't have been super thick.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably was good.
Yeah, it was very different because it's still, with baked apples in there, you're expecting it to be sweeter, right?
Yeah, but cheddar.
And yeah, but the cheddar and then the eggs, which there's no sugar or anything that goes into the egg, so it's just like unseasoned scrambled eggs besides the nutmeg, I guess.
Very neutralizing, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
They could do it with like a brie. You'd have a lot of flavor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how a brie melts in an omelet though.
I don't know if it would have enough time.
Yeah, brie is tough to melt anyway. Yeah.
I'm hungry now. I'm hungry for something else with cheese. You guys, I played more Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah,
Cowabunga.
Yeah,
more single player.
They eat pizza all the time. Actually, friend of the pod, Mr. Matt, decided that he wanted to use his Game Pass subscription for the first time. Shots fired. And we started a new quote unquote campaign from the beginning and did it all 2-player. I can confirm the progress you make with a character carries over to whatever game you start. So the April that I had leveled already was still leveled. It was fun. Cool. It was fun teaching, not teaching, I guess, but like exploring the game with without players that have played a lot. Because the other time I played, it was people that have already played and leveled up like most of the characters. And I felt a little left behind. And this time it was more like, oh, what happens if we punch this door? Oh, we found a secret thing. There's a guy hidden back there that then later is on the world map and wants you to give him this hidden thing that we've been finding in all the levels. That kind of stuff happens. Yeah. Learning the enemy patterns more and more than before, because not everybody dies instantaneously because we don't have 5 players on the screen.
Right.
Yeah, that was cool. I got 180 hit combo that somehow lasted like 3/4 of a level. I don't know how.
That's a lot of hit.
That is, I think, what more games should be. And not in so much as the play style, but like really in a world of like there's gonna be only a few AAA studios left out there. We should talk about Ubisoft in a second. But if people are going to make these smaller things, really focus your game like this Turtles game. Focus. You know what I mean? They wanted to make an exact thing and they made it, and they didn't let the leveling up system could have been tons of complicated, right? And instead you just have 10 levels and the 10 levels give you these things and that's it. They just linearly upgrade your character, and they're small upgrades. You don't even need them. It's a good system. It's a good game. Did you guys hear about Ubisoft? Unless you have questions about Turtles, we could talk about Cowabunga if you want more. I answer questions.
No, we're good. Which part of Ubisoft are you talking?
The killing off the Assassin's Creed stuff. I can't tell how bad it is yet.
I heard some murmurings about it, but I haven't dug into it.
Yeah, so
Right.
the thing I saw was like, well, explain what you heard, and then we'll see if our whatever news we intook has aligned.
Okay,
Andrew.
I did a cursory research on a tweet, right? And the tweet was basically like, they're taking away all your games. This is why you should have physical games. Not thankfully from someone that I follow. This was a quote tweet from someone else that was like, Ubisoft seems to be doing some stuff. And it was kind of a little bit sarcastic. And so I took the sarcasm to mean that wasn't entirely true. Well, we can talk about physical games in a second. But it seems like Ubisoft is sunsetting any sort of server connection for any of their older Assassin's Creed games, is what I'm taking from it. So like if you have Brotherhood or whatever on Steam, you won't be able to connect to any sort of online service or download any DLC through the game anymore. Is that about what you heard?
Yeah, it sounded like the way they announced it had made people freak out that like the game would stop working completely. And it sounds like maybe that isn't the case, but that a lot of the pieces of the game may break because of it. Like including potentially DLC that people paid for. Which is pretty bad.
That would be bad, I guess. Yeah, that would be bad if the games just stopped working because of other stuff that got removed. Even though they're still letting you download it, that would kind of suck.
Yeah, the Steam community post seems to say that things you will be unable to do: play multiplayer game modes, use online features, access, install, or play DLC, access in-game Ubisoft Connect rewards, and link Ubisoft accounts in-game.
Ubisoft did put out a tweet I'm seeing here that does say all the games will still be accessible.
Yeah, but like, what does that mean, right?
Yeah,
The base game and
the base games
none
are
of the
still
bells and
downloadable.
whistles.
Yeah, and so like if people paid for DLC, it's pretty garbage to say that like, F you can't install your DLC anymore because we turned the server off. Like, bro, that's what Steam is for. It's right there telling them that you paid for it.
Yeah, but Ubisoft doesn't work that way, remember?
That's Ubisoft's problem, man.
I understand.
Don't sell me your stuff that way then.
Oh yeah,
right? Sell it through your own little garbage store.
We're not disagreeing. I'm just saying the physical limitation that Ubisoft has created for itself, which you could say, and I would probably agree, is bad. Is that all the stuff that is not the base thing that you download from Steam is then connected to Ubisoft's your account that you have to sign into in the game and then downloaded through the game.
Yeah,
right.
That's garbage.
That's not the way
And
to do
it is garbage in terms of the functionality is just stupid, right? Because but it's not new functionality, and it's not functionality that is unique anymore. Other people are doing it as well. Epic does it as well, and EA does it as well. BioWare does it as well. They all have their own little account systems. I mean, oh, good God, Call of Duty is like this, you know?
Yeah, I think the thing is, though, that, like, I guess so far, I haven't seen people be sunsetting things that are like, hey, DLC you paid for, you can't install anymore. That isn't the way I've seen it work. But maybe I'm wrong and, like, I don't remember. I think the real thing here is that, like, you wanted to talk about physical, Andrew. I think even if you owned physical copies of this game, it wouldn't help you.
It would not help you. That's the thing I was going to say in part of it, yeah.
Like, they're turning it off on their end. Even if you install your physical disc, it doesn't help.
Right.
Because, firstly, like, your physical disc probably doesn't have the DLC.
Right, yeah. And so that's what I was going to say is you're going to have to hit the server somehow for your DLC download, even if you got it on a disc, right? I've been going back and forth a lot on what to do going forward. I bought a good amount of games for my Switch physically, almost all of them, actually. I've run into times where I wish that I'd had some digitally, and so since then, I have on sale replaced some of my physical games with digital ones, the ones that I know that I don't care about ever having a physical copy I can sell again. But this, makes me think like, well, what did I do? Did I mess up here and someday Nintendo's going to turn off the Smash Brothers because they want me to buy the new one? I don't know. Unlikely in my view, but not forever. I mean, they did shut down the 3DS and what else? They've shut down all the old stores. So if you didn't download it before then, good luck.
Yeah.
It's not like you said, if you paid for it, you should have access to it. Well, it's not unique.
It's interesting though.
It's not unique because, the Wii, if you wanted to keep your games on the Wii, you needed to download them by this date because after that, you don't get them anymore.
I'm looking at Ubisoft's now support webpage about all these servers being shut down. It's interesting. The only people losing access to DLC are the PC. All the other platforms don't say that. They lose their online features, their multiplayer features, ability to link accounts or whatever, but only the PC loses installation and access to DLC for all these games.
Does the console versions allow you to sign into Ubisoft like the other ones do, or did the console force
all ones say you'll be unable to link Ubisoft accounts in game or use online features? All the games say that.
Or use online features, right? So do you have to sign into a Ubisoft account on those, or did the consoles force them to sell the DLC through the console manufacturer? I mean, oh my God, is there a good, is there a good reason to have had a console?
Yeah. But it looks like on all the console versions, you will have access to DLC. Except for this one game which says to play the solo campaign, you have to set your console offline.
Wow.
None of the other ones say that.
Wow.
So maybe the answer is no one should play Ubisoft games. Maybe that's the answer here. This is terrible.
I mean, there's a lot of people that work at Ubisoft. It's the online system they've created is clearly duct tape, to try and create some sort of proprietary thing that this was their entire goal, really. I mean, if you look at the system, the way that it's designed, if the system is designed so that when they shut off the server, you lose access to stuff so that they can then sell the remastered version 2 years from now, that's the design. It's not a fluke, it's a feature.
Well, that's why I'm saying you gotta just vote by saying no, don't buy this in the first place.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the thing I was going to talk about, JJ, is I've been going back and forth about Final Fantasy VII. I know that I want to get it on the PlayStation 5, right? But I couldn't decide between the disc and the download.
The disc won't help you again. All the new consoles have this issue. The physical versions don't help you if the accounts get shut off, right? Like if they say they're shutting down the PlayStation Store or whatever for the PS5 in the future, your physical disc won't help you because the game isn't on that disc anymore. That's not how this stuff works.
Yeah. So is there a reason? I mean, this is good segue.
I mean, the reason would be it's cheaper, right? Buy the less expensive one.
Right.
That's the only thing. Like if the physical one goes on sale for like $10 or $15 or whatever, that's the one you get because it's probably cheaper than the digital one.
Yeah. But there's we're entering a phase of you have to accept that everything is just a digital license at this point. Right. And that it could just get shut off at any time. I mean, like, I'm a big proponent. I have so many Switch games here that are physical games. I opened the drawer to show you, and I don't know why. I don't think digital games are bad. I just think that
I think Nintendo is maybe the exception to this rule.
Sure.
Because Nintendo does with some regularity shut down their online stores.
Absolutely.
For their older consoles. The PS3 online store is shut down where you can't buy new things from it, but the server is still up and you can download stuff you've purchased.
Yes.
So, or same with the 360 and those games, right?
Right.
Now, maybe that won't be the case forever. At some point, they will turn those off, I suspect. But who knows when? And maybe they just won't. Maybe it's part of their online infrastructure now, and they've just figured out a way to keep it going. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Nintendo definitely does not. And so having physical access to your Nintendo games is way more important because in 10 years, they are going to have turned off the servers for the, well, maybe not 10 years for the Switch, but 10 years, the servers for the Wii will be turned off forever and you'll never be able to access any of the stuff you purchased on the Wii shop again. So I think that is the outlier case because they're the only ones doing it more regularly. For now.
I'm not a stick in the mud. I've got a 400 game Steam account. Obviously, digital games make a lot of sense a lot of the time. But yeah, this is the first time that this Ubisoft thing made me think, man, do physical games even matter anymore? It's crazy. But there you have it. Digitally, I played more Eiyuden. It's a good game.
Sweet.
And I went camping, you guys, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to bed early while camping a little bit more often. I stay up too late camping. I feel like garbage because I'm sleeping on the ground. I'm going to go to bed a little early. And it's in order to incentivize myself to go to bed early, I'm going to do an experiment. And so I brought with me a pair of Bluetooth headphones and a PS5 controller. I Bluetoothed both of them to my phone and played Shinsekai Into the Depths on the Apple Arcade.
Okay.
How was that?
The screen is too small.
Yeah.
Got him.
Even on my large phone, which is like the Pro Max, which is just large enough to not feel too terrible about watching like Netflix on it or something like that. If I'm not watching something that's important, like if I'm watching reruns of Seinfeld in bed or whatever. If you had like an iPad mini, this would be great. Hooking up a controller and doing all that. And then I started to think, like, while I was sitting there thinking, oh man, I wish this was on like an iPad mini. This was fun to bring it camping. I thought, wait, I have a Switch. Why didn't I just bring that camping? They released that Shinsekai game on Switch too.
Well, you probably would have only gotten one night of the Switch, right? Unless you had a charger out there.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have a charger, but
I didn't know what kind of camping you were in.
Far camping, but chargers exist with battery packs. Anyway, it was okay. It was the controller hookup and the audio hookup was way more cool than playing games on my phone, which I still think maybe is not the answer. Even with a controller. The controller made it way better, I'll tell you. I don't know how you would play that game. It's a Metroidvania. That Shinsekai game is a Metroidvania. And so you're jumping and shooting and hitting things with your axe. And even with a controller and not having my fingers on the screen, I was still running into like, oh, that was a jellyfish? I didn't even see that. You know?
Yeah, I feel like that would be too much going on for just your thumbs.
Yeah. There's a lot. And you have to like use your oxygen to... That's a really deep game. I don't know. I mean, it must have been made with the idea that you would play it on the TV. So my next report back on this thing will be me Apple AirPlaying my phone to the TV with the things Bluetoothed to my phone to see how it goes. That's my next
technology.
report. That's my next report. And so with that, I sign off and say, I want to hear about the games you guys played on your week off.
Let's let Michael go first, I think.
Sure, yeah, I'll jump in here. I actually played two that have been sitting in my Steam library for a while. I felt like something different, like I was in a bit of a game rut, so I figured I'd dust off a couple of things that I've been putting off playing. So the first one, I don't know if you guys have heard of, but it's a game called Titan Souls. So it's it's a pixel art game, kind of over the shoulder, SNES Zelda style. And you play the hero who has his trusty bow and a single arrow, which once you fire it, you can call back to yourself. But calling the arrow back to yourself stops your movement. So you're frozen on screen while you're calling the arrow back to yourself, or you can run to the arrow. And you have exactly 1 point of health. So I didn't play for very long, only because it didn't really hold my attention too much. But it starts out basically just kind of as a boss run, and you either hit the boss with the arrow and kill it, or the boss hits you and kills you. Yeah, it might get more engaging if I got a little bit further into it, but
Okay.
the intro is just like, here, beat these 4 bosses, and they are, the movement and the fact that you only have the one arrow to attack with get pretty difficult pretty quickly.
Somewhat sure. Again, I haven't played this game, but
I definitely
I'm
have seen this game before. Now that I've looked it up on Steam,
and I
while we were
think the
talking.
game is only boss fights. I don't think there's anything else.
Okay.
Now, I don't know how many or where or, that sort of stuff, but I believe it is like a boss fight type game.
My guess is that it changes quite a bit because people seem to love this game. So something's got to change.
Yeah, it's very popular, which I think was part of the reason why I downloaded it in the first place. So maybe I'll come back to it and give it a little more time. But the second game, which I have been playing much more of, is one that I know that you both have played and enjoyed. I finally booted up Transistor.
Oh,
Ooh, yeah.
way to go.
Yeah. So, Supergiant Games, maker of many popular favorites of people on this podcast. Trying to
should have played Hades. I should have. Man,
I'm building up to it.
so good.
building it.
Transistor's a good place to start. I'm surprised you didn't go Pyre, although maybe that's too different. Or
Pyre's pretty different.
Bastion.
Yeah. Bastion's good though.
Bastion's great.
Really good.
I have played through Bastion and thoroughly enjoyed it.
Okay. Well, Transistor and Bastion are not unrelated.
No, they're very similar.
No,
Well, similar in some ways.
They're
for sure.
similar
They feel
in isometrics and in tone, I think, more than anything else. I don't know. What did you think? Let's just leave you to decide what you think.
Yeah, I really like it so far. I like the kind of spare narration by the guy stuck in the transistor.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like the art style.
Especially
that's a common with all of their games.
Yeah, but the thing that I can't remember if they do it. I mean, I never played Hades, but like the cutaway scenes where they go into like the super painting style stuff.
Yeah,
Hades has that too.
Yeah,
it is so beautiful. Well, I don't know. It's a little different in Hades, I guess, but it is. All their games are so good looking, even all the way back to Bastion. That game still looks good.
Yeah, just the attention to detail and the quality of the art in every facet of the game is just it's impressive.
I'm not surprised you stuck with that one over sticking with maybe something a little bit more indie in the Titan Souls genre.
Yeah,
because the polish on all those games is really super high.
How are you liking the combat?
I like it. I've gotten far enough to have some function combos that I really like. That really seem to work for me. I like too that there is the backdoor space that has the tree with all the different training rooms in it, because it kind of forces you to use the abilities in different combinations than what you might be playing with in the regular game.
Yeah, I think the combat for me was like the most fun part of that game. Once it gets going, the combos get really ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm starting to get into that.
Nice.
Very cool. I hope you enjoy that one. And then
Highly recommended.
You should play Hades after that. Hades is so good.
It's on the list.
Nice. JJ, how come every time I open Steam, since we were looking at this other Titan Souls game, I have Steam open. How come every time I open Steam, I have a Vampire Survivors update?
Bro, because Vampire Survivors is the game of the year. Like that, I've been playing Vampire Survivors again.
I see you have achievements recently.
That game is so good. It's like they add new stuff, and you're like, oh, I'll just go in and like mess around in these new levels I have, or go try and unlock some new characters, and then you're like, oh man, this game rules though. I forgot. Like, oh, this new weapon is crazy. Like it does. This is weird. Oh, I'm unlocking like this crazy relic. It does. I've never seen this before. Oh, there's an evolution to this weapon now. Oh my. And then it's just like, meanwhile, and then like 2 hours later, you're like, what time is it? Oh God, it's 4 a.m. I need to go to sleep.
How did that happen?
Yeah. Vampire Survivors is great, man. It sounds like they're getting pretty close. I think all the characters are in now.
Okay.
I don't know if they're planning to add more weapons. I don't think so. I'd have to go look at the roadmap again. They have They have a bunch of Arcanas. They have like all kinds of crazy stuff in there. And some of the later relics are just really, really game breaking. And they have added a way. So this was the one that got me, Andrew. They have added a way to give permanent upgrades to each character that carry over between sessions.
My eyes have gotten gigantic.
So you can collect these items, specific items, and it increases some stat of the character permanently. And of course, like they give you an option in the menu to turn these off. So if you want to play without the bonus, you can do that, right? But if
why
you want,
would you?
You want to challenge or fair, speed run. I don't know.
Speed run was just about to come out of my mouth since GDQ just ended, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like a base game, no whatever thing here, and then unlock this or do the other thing or whatever.
Right.
So this game rules, man, and it's just so fun every time. It's just like I'm just gonna go do a couple runs and see how it is, and then you're like, oh shoot, it's way past bedtime. I have to go to sleep. So I've been doing that, but that isn't the only game I've been playing. As Andrew alluded to earlier, talking about Final Fantasy VII, I have been playing the Final Fantasy VII Remake.
I have seen a sale occur on the physical copy, and given our discussion, I think I am going to pull the trigger. Should I pull the trigger?
I mean, I'm liking the game so far. I haven't tried the DLC yet that came as part of the purchase of the game on the PC. But my understanding is the DLC is meant to come after the story, so I'm finishing the story first.
Oh, there's DLC. Great. Maybe I should buy the digital edition instead.
Yep.
Right? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know if the DLC matters. It's possible the PS5 versions all have it, right? Intergrade is the DLC.
Intergrade is the
Yes.
DLC, yeah. And so the PS5 disc is called Intergrade as well. So I guess that means that it's already.
My guess is you got it, yeah.
Okay.
On there. So, yeah, I'm liking it so far. I wonder how you will feel about the combat of this game.
Oh, me personally?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
As a person who had issues with action-based combats in the past.
I have had issues with action-based combat sometimes. Not all the time. I just am particular.
I feel like there is a lot going on, and I don't always feel fully in control of the situation. However, that has not stopped me from winning.
Interesting.
Early on, I had a lot more trouble. Now that I've gotten later into the game, I have a lot more options, and things have calmed down. Or maybe I have figured out how to play better. I'm not sure.
You're gooder now.
Maybe, yeah. Or I'm just stronger now because I've leveled up more or whatever.
Maybe.
But I'm interested to hear your take. The combat is very action-y. There's stuff to do. You can't just select commands from a menu. There is a menu, and you do select commands from it, but that is not the primary way you're playing the game.
Okay.
Gosh, I don't know what to say.
There is a
about it.
pause too, I think. So I guess you could change the game to be less
so I don't know,
action oriented, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how the pause stuff works. I know when I bring up the menu to select commands, time slows way down to barely you can see the guy's sword moving in slow motion behind the menu, right?
Bullet time.
Yeah, bullet time, exactly. But it's not stopped. So if you're about to be murdered by the giant meteor or whatever from the other team, it's not going to help you there necessarily, right? Because you select your command and the character still has to do it. Like it's not like you hit the button and it happens immediately. They may start to happen, but there might be you have to cast the spell. You got to cast the spell. You can't just like hit it and the spell is applied.
Yep.
And the same with your attacks. They all have windups, or if you select like your limit break or whatever, they have to go into the animation and then do it. That kind of stuff. So yeah, but it's been very enjoyable. I've really, really liked it so far. It's nostalgic in a lot of ways, interesting. So I'm very curious to see what your opinion is. Did you play it back in the day? I assume you've played it before.
Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This doesn't make it all the way through though, as far as I understand.
No, it's just the first part.
Yeah. I mean, there's a second one. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that.
Okay. Should I reacquaint? I don't think I have time to replay the first one in my life, but
no,
should I
your memory of it is
myself?
probably fine.
My
your
memory is
memory is
enough.
probably fine. Yeah.
There's a theory about that of like you shouldn't rewatch old stuff. Like if a movie is referencing something that's like 15 years old, don't rewatch it. Some people have that theory.
I think this game in particular, very specifically, this game is playing with your nostalgia.
So don't worry too much about it because it's just about what you remember anyway.
Right. Don't worry too much.
Okay.
But like, knowing things about the game and specifically about things that happen throughout the game may give you bonus enjoyment of things when you see things or you hear names or places or whatever that get referenced. And you're like, oh, I remember that from that game. Right.
Right.
Like I said, I'm really liking it so far. It's hard to tell how deep I am into the game. I'm in chapter 14, but there's like tons of side quests and stuff. So I don't know really how long each chapters are. Some chapter is like 2 hours and I've spent like 2 days in some other chapters. So who knows?
I don't think you have that many chapters left, if I recall. I think I remember reading there were only in the low 20s of
Okay. I could believe it. I don't know. Yeah, but like I said, it's unclear to me how long the chapters are, and some of them definitely are very short, while some of them have been quite a bit longer. So,
they're not kind of evenly timed. That's probably for the best, so it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah,
cool. Before we go, JJ, you'll kind of probably know what the heck I've been watching when I tell you this. Gregory Peck. You know the actor Gregory Peck, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, and Michael also knows who Gregory Peck is.
Yeah.
Ethan Peck is his son.
Okay.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Nope.
Ethan Peck is the new Spock.
Ah. Gotcha.
I was sitting here wondering why he had such good acting chops, and now I know why. So now you know what I've been watching. I don't know that we talk about it here, but we did watch a little bit of something in common. Did you want to talk about F1?
Oh man, I'm always happy to talk about F1. The last couple races have been pretty darn good, man.
Michael, you should go online and look up Carlos Sainz. What did you look? Fire?
Engine fire, maybe?
Engine fire?
I heard about this from one of my coworkers.
Dude, watching it from a side angle, you can see the side of the car basically grenade itself.
Like, it's like it detonating a small explosive in like a closed jar, and how you see the lid like pop off really quick, the car did that internally where the engine is. Like the siding like popped up and then back down. You're like, oh, something under there exploded.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Then he pulled off to the side because the car stopped, and then like within seconds the car was engulfed in flames.
Whole thing. Yeah. He got out. He's safe. But Ferrari, man, has got to sort something out. I mean, even their car that won the race this week, Michael, the guy in first place with 5 laps to go starts losing about a third of a second a lap and starts saying, "So the throttle's sticking wide open."
Oh man, this is like
this feels bad.
Andrew, tell him what this is. This is like the most unbelievable thing.
I don't know ever if I heard why it happened.
Oh, so they explained it.
So
later,
what I heard was Leclerc is talking on the radio, and he's basically saying every time he takes his foot off the accelerator, it doesn't come back all the way. And so therefore, because the car is seeing accelerator input, Michael, there's too many computers and he can't downshift.
So
so he has
the
to start
refusing to. The engine is refusing the downshift because it thinks the accelerator is still pressed.
So he has to start coasting the corners to make the turns.
No, so you missed this part, Andrew. What he's doing is he's pulling the accelerator forward with his other foot.
Oh, I missed that.
Oh.
And that's how he gets it to accept and he's like, I'm like pulling the pedal because I guess some spring or something in the car like was not broke, but like failing kind of.
Yeah.
And it wasn't returning the pedal to zero.
This is the guy in first place. His car's breaking down as he's trying to finish the race.
He's using his other foot to pry the pedal forward so that it turns off. So he can downshift.
And like a shark, the guy behind him is just slowly closing in as he's losing time fighting his car.
You can see it coming in slow-mo.
And it's like half a second a lap, but there's not enough time for the guy to catch up.
The other greatest quote from that was the Hamilton quote afterwards. I think I shared with you guys about how he was so far behind second place that he just started watching the Jumbotron to see what was going on ahead of him.
Dude, what a Chad, man. That's like the most baller move. Just be like, yeah, I'm just racing my F1 car 200 miles an hour down the straight and like watching the Jumbotron. Oh, they're having a good race over there. That's cool.
I'm on TV.
Well, cool. No, they're not showing me. I'm not in first. They're showing these guys. So like, it's like, oh, yeah, hey.
When you're 37,
taking a quarter at 90.
When you're 37 and you've been racing cars at that speed since you were like 12, I guess I'm just going to give it like the benefit of the doubt that he knew what he was doing.
There are stories, and I know Hamilton has had this happen before and given an interview about it, where drivers preternaturally avoid a crash around a blind corner that they can't see.
Because they just have a feeling?
Yes, but why do they have the feeling? And it's because the drivers see, normally, when you're coming up to a corner, the people in the stands are looking at you. Or at the car coming up the corner or whatever. And when they're not looking at you, something is wrong.
Oh, interesting.
And so Hamilton has said this, and there was a famous crash that happened several years ago, I guess, and where it was a big, horrible looking crash. And Hamilton is barreling down the straight or whatever nearby and is about to turn that corner and notices something is wrong, right? And so he's like decelerating more than he normally would. And lo and behold, he comes around that corner and there's a huge wreck and he avoids it because he's slowed down enough to avoid it.
His team didn't radio him to slow down, or it just happened?
Well, it's like one of those things where like it had happened seconds before or whatever, and he's like, they hadn't thrown the safety car or the flags or anything yet, but he was coming still at full speed. And because, as soon as the marshals react or whatever and put out the safety car and the flags, like all the drivers are automatically slowed down by, computers and stuff.
It's crazy, too, because on an F1 track, there's no way to know what direction, how the, I mean, we saw Zhou Guan Yu fly over a barrier in another race over the weekend at the Red Bull Ring. A car hit the sausage curb and flew an entire turn before it hit the ground again, upside down, and then slid across the track.
Yep. Nope.
Yeah.
Michael, go watch the video of Zhou Guan Yu's crash, like him sliding upside down on the halo across the gravel into the barrier, flipping over the tire barrier and landing between that and the fence. It's like terrifying. Unbelievable he walks away from that, which he did.
unlike a NASCAR race, right, where they tell you, okay, well, they all crashed, but it's a what, parallaxed or whatever the proper term is for the bank. So everything slides down the track.
Right. Yeah. Stuff goes every which way.
In F1, yeah. Wow. What a weird week.
Impressive. I mean, it is impressive, the stuff that people walk away from. Like that. And you know that halo that goes around the front of the car?
Yeah.
That's only been in the sport for like 2 or 3 years.
That's nuts.
Imagine some of those crashes if that halo wasn't there. Those people would be dead.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking Jamaican bobsled team there.
Yeah.
Whew. Well, if you too are a fan of the classic film Cool Runnings,
and really, who isn't?
You should email us.
Bobsled time at We Were Gamers.
Oh
no,
man.
Michael, what are you doing? We don't have aliases. Podcast at wewergamers.com, though. Please, we want to hear your impressions of Sanka telling him, yeah, man.
Yeah, you did.
I mean, like, we're on social media and stuff, too. You can find us on
whatever.
But please follow us.
We got a minute. I want to do a special shout out because people are weird like me and they want to watch weird things on YouTube. If you're really into cameras and lenses, there's a YouTube channel called Sharegrid. It's one word. They have taken, you guys, I don't know how to explain this in any other terms, so you just use your imagination. They have taken almost every cinematic lens available on the market, plus a bunch that are not available. I don't know, like the military.
You have to know a guy.
No, like one of the lenses on here is a military lens created in France for spotting snipers.
Okay, very specific.
They've taken all of these lenses that can be hooked up to cameras nowadays, and they've done exact identical camera testing on these like giant sets with the same exact lighting conditions, the same exact T-stop exposures, the same movements, the same everything. So you can see how every lens makes everything look different. It's nuts. I don't know how or why they decided to do this to themselves, but that was my weird exploration on the internet this week.
Well, if people want to see cool stuff in pictures, they should go check out, probably by the time this podcast is out, the James Webb Space Telescope images, which are coming out.
Oh, that's another good shout out. Yeah, that'll be out by then. Those come out one day before this podcast, so go check those out as well. The first image looks pretty cool.
The striking difference between the Hubble image and then the first image from this James Webb is like, dang. It's like, oh, we're in HD now. It's from 480p or whatever.
I like that I can tell what I'm looking at, even though I know I don't know what I'm looking at. Sure. Right? Like on a Hubble one, you'd be like, oh, somebody said that this is this, and I see it now. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
On the Webb, you're like, well, that's clearly a galaxy. But then
it's
somebody...
like not even... Yeah.
But somebody who's smarter than me be like, well, it's this exact type of galaxy, and it's this far. You know what I mean? Like, it's way more important to them, but like... As a person that loves cool space stuff, like I have all those expensive space Lego, you know what I mean? Like I love space stuff, and I can enjoy that without having to be explained what I'm looking at.
And the high resolution, like if you go find the high resolution version, you can zoom in impressively far and see like a lot of detail on those tiny little specks.
There's going to be a lot more. Let's go check all of it out.
Yep, very exciting.